Today I wanted to show y'all a new tool that I have, and I'm kind of concerned about showing people this. It's something that can hurt you basically when you take a grinder or you're talking about a grinder. It in itself can do damage to skin, and what I'm talking about now is taking a chainsaw and putting it with the grinder. It's kind of fun and kind of interesting, and definitely you need to be careful. I don't recommend this for anybody that had never used a chainsaw for a pretty good amount of time, and or a grinder. A grinder can get away from you, a chainsaw can get away from you, and put these two together and it can hurt you. So just be very careful if you use this. Make sure you've got eye protection and gloves in this particular case. I know that we don't talk about gloves and we don't like gloves because they can get hung up in turning, things like that, but in this scenario, treat it like a chainsaw. That's basically what it is. And what I'm using it for is I'm using this piece of wood just to show how to trim, not really to get it ready for turning. But this piece could definitely use a little bit of help, obviously, before you put it on a lathe. And the dimensions are kind of off, and so I'm going to show you a couple of things you can do to kind of clean it up, get it semi-round, or if you want to keep playing with it, you can make it totally round, or just about round. So anyway, I want to get some of this bark off with the worms. That's okay, I'll get you later. Let me get myself together with some safety stuff, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is to try to clean this up and put it on center, and by doing that, then I can kind of trim off the sides as I can turn it around and do some stuff like that. When you breathe stuff like this all the time, you really don't need to. Anything other than clean air is really all you need to breathe. And I've got my face shield and composite toe shoes. So I have my PPE, and you wear what you feel like you need to wear, but it's always a good idea to have maybe more than you think that you need. So first thing I'm going to do is kind of flatten this out, and pretty much what I'm doing is cutting it around just like you would on a bandsaw. My bandsaw, some days it cooperates and some days it does not. Alright, this will be a little bit better. Alright, so you can do it any way you want, and maybe this is really too far, but I guess, like if you don't have a chainsaw or you don't have a bandsaw, then you can certainly. I like all the extra room I got on my lathe. Nope, the motor is somewhere being worked on. All right. So basically you can use it however. It's really better for trimming, but I got rid of this a lot easier than taking it down, which really I need to cut it more, but taking it down, then putting it back up and taking it down, all that kind of stuff. And really, I think the advantage of this piece is when you've got a little piece that when you try to spin it, it hits, and just taking this and just trimming something off. I think that's the advantage of it more so than taking a whole bunch of wood off. So anyway, that's what I'm trying to show here, is that it is more of just a trimming kind of thing, especially if you don't have any other way to do it. Then you got to use what you got. The lathe is not working right now. It's not made to work right now. I don't have a motor on it. And taking these corners down where it can swing. Personally, on some straight cuts like this, I would use the bandsaw, but this is not about the bandsaw. So
just trying to get the idea of being able to trim something real easy without having to take it off the lathe. Now normally I would not trim everything on the lathe. I would not do it like this, but because the camera's mounts and everything are there, I'm doing it like this. This would be a lot better done outside, but when you get down to a point that it's fairly close, I think that would be when you would go about using it. Now, I went and got something smaller just to show about trimming, but I think you've already seen enough about how that does. So please be safe, and remember, God is good.